If you're in any migraine groups online right now, or really any women's health community, you've probably seen it. Women saying they started Ozempic or Wegovy or a microdose of semaglutide, and their migraines got better. And here's the thing. There is real science behind why some of them are feeling that relief, but I'm actually going to walk you through exactly what's happening. Because here is what nobody on the other side of that conversation is telling you. While you're feeling a little bit better, something serious could be quietly getting worse underneath the surface. And if you are in perimenopause or menopause, this matters even more for you. So today we are pulling back the curtain on GLP-1 medications, whether you are taking them as a shot or the brand new pill. We're going to talk about why they seem to help migraines and why this approach can keep you stuck when what you actually want is just to get your joy back for good. So let's start at the beginning because I know this term is everywhere right now and it can feel overwhelming. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. Now it sounds like a mouthful, so just think of it this way. It is a hormone in your body that your body already makes naturally after you eat. It tells your pancreas, hey, please release some insulin, slow down how fast food's moving through my stomach, and signal my brain that I'm full. The medications, things like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, they are engineered to copy that hormone and make the effects last much longer than your body's natural version does. Now, they were originally created for type 2 diabetes. Then researchers noticed people were losing significant weight on them, and that is when things exploded. Now, here's what's brand new. As of late 2025, early 2026, the FDA approved the first GLP-1 pill for weight loss, meaning this is no longer just an injection. There's now an oral version called the Wegovy pill with the same active ingredient as the shot semaglutide. And just this week, a second oral GLP-1 pill called Fundeo was approved, which can be taken any time of day without food or water restriction. So the barrier got even lower. No needle, just a pill daily. And that means even more women are going to be considering this, which is exactly why we really need to have this conversation right now. Okay, so why are women saying their migraines are getting better on these medications? Here's the science, and I'm going to try to make it as simple as I can. So there is a protein in your body called CGRP, and I want you to think of this, think of it as a flare gun. You know, when conditions in your brain are off, CGRP fires, and that is what triggers a migraine attack. And researchers have found that GLP-1 medications may lower the pressure inside the skull, and when that pressure drops, it seems to quiet that flare gun down. Now, these medications have been shown to reduce pressure inside the skull, and they've also been shown to decrease the activity of CGRP in migraine models. The study that everyone is citing right now is a pilot study published in the journal Headache in 2025 out of the University of Naples. After taking a GLP-1 medication called liraglutide, people who suffered from migraines reduced the number of days per month with symptoms by almost half. Now, that's a striking number, and I completely understand why it got everyone's attention. Here's something even more interesting. The improvement was not because of the weight loss. The research found that this effect appeared to be independent of weight loss. So the medication was doing something directly to the migraine process itself, not just because the scale moved. And yes, that's real. I am so not diminishing that. But let's talk about what was buried under the fine print. The study included 31 people, ran for 12 weeks. There was no comparison group, meaning there was nothing to compare the results against. The long-term sustainability of the relief was not studied at all, and no GLP-1 medication is approved to treat migraines. This was a very small early stage study. 31 people over 3 months does not a migraine cure make. And here's the other side of the coin that almost nobody's talking about. There is documented cases where a patient who started a GLP-1 injection went from having hemiplegic migraines once or twice a year to having them nearly every single day over 60 days that they were on the medication. So for some women, this makes things dramatically worse, not better, makes it worse. Now, I want to talk about something that is making all of this even messier because it is not just the injections and the pills anymore. The GLP bandwagon, it's getting a little full. You've probably seen them in the Facebook group, on TikToks, showing up in your ads. Supplements. Supplements with names that sound very official, claiming to give you the same effects as Ozempic without the prescription. Things like berberine, which can be nicknamed nature's Ozempic. That's what the nickname is all over social media right now. And here's the truth. Despite claims that berberine has effects similar to GLP-1 medications, there is no conclusive evidence of this yet. It is considered a dietary supplement, not a tried and true medication. And the ingredient problem goes deeper than effectiveness. Many of these products are sold online through unregulated channels with little oversight. Unlike FDA-approved medications, dietary supplements are not tested for safety or effectiveness before they reach the market. The actual ingredients and dosages can vary widely from what is listed on the label, and some products may contain substances not disclosed at all. Doctors are actually now seeing liver toxicity in patients taking these supplements. Symptoms often don't appear until a patient is very sick, showing up as jaundice, yellow eyes, and in severe cases, liver failure. So if you were thinking the supplement version was the safer, cheaper alternative, it's not necessarily true at all. You may be getting contaminated ingredients, zero real benefit, damage to your liver, and we're spending money that we don't need to be spending. So I want you to picture something. Picture you're in your kitchen. You notice the cabinet under the sink smells a little off, so you open it up and you see the floor is damp. There's a slow leak somewhere, right? So what do? You grab a storage bin, you put it in front of the wet spot so you don't have to look at it. You spray some air freshener, and honestly, the kitchen smells fine now and you forget about it. But what is happening to that floor while you're going about your life thinking everything is fine? The floor is rotting. And that's what using a GLP-1 for your migraines is doing. It may quiet the pressure down in your brain just enough that you get some relief. And hey, who does not want relief? Remember, I'm the one, daily migraines, 10 years. I get it, right? But the inflammation overload loop that is driving your migraines in the first place, it's still running. And here's the part that made my jaw drop when I was digging into the research. The medication may actually be making the conditions underneath even worse. And this is the part that matters the most. What these medications are actually doing to your minerals. In a study of over 460,000 adults who were newly prescribed GLP-1 medication, more than 20% had nutritional deficiencies diagnosed within just 1 year of starting treatment. Now, vitamin D deficiency was the most common. Diagnosis of mineral deficiencies, including zinc, selenium, these rose over time among GLP-1 users. When the appetite decreases and portions shrink, the risk of, being deficient in these minerals, it increases. And these minerals play crucial roles in immune function, thyroid hormone activity, and the body's ability to fight inflammation. And iron, one large study found that GLP-1 users had a 54% greater risk of lower iron stores compared to people on other medication. And why does iron matter for migraines? Low iron means your blood is not carrying oxygen as efficiently to your brain. That directly affects how your brain regulates pain signals. Women in perimenopause and postmenopausal are already fighting to maintain iron levels. And adding a medication that depletes it further is like adding fuel to a fire you are trying to put out. Now, here's what I really need you to hear. Vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, iron. These are not random nutrients. These are the exact minerals that sit at the core of why the inflammation overload loop is running in the first place. So if you are taking something that dials down one symptom pathway in your brain while simultaneously depleting the minerals that your body needs to stop generating the crisis in the first place, you're patching one hole in the boat while drilling another at the same time. And then let's think about your muscles. According to the American Diabetes Association, as much as 40% of the weight lost on GLP-1 medications can come from muscle mass, not fat. Think about that. 40% coming from muscle mass, not fat. And after age 50, maintaining muscle mass becomes increasingly difficult because the body is less efficient at rebuilding it. If you start with lower muscle mass, your risk of losing function is even greater. For women in perimenopause and postmenopause, muscle is not a cosmetic issue. It regulates blood sugar. It controls inflammation. It directly affects how your body manages pain. Losing it quietly in the background while you are watching the scale go down, that's not a win. Then there's bone density. Rapid weight loss and reduced nutrient intake can weaken bones. Postmenopausal women are already at higher risk for bone loss, and this risk increases with an adequate nutrient intake. Calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, they are critical during this time. 3 separate problems quietly getting worse underneath the surface while you feel better. So I want to acknowledge something before we end our time together today because I really think it matters. I understand. I really do. I understand why this feels so appealing. Women in our community are dealing with migraines, and many of them are watching their body change in a way that feels out of their control, especially women that are in perimenopause right now. The idea that one shot or one pill a day could handle both the migraines and the weight, it feels like something is finally being figured out. It feels like this magic pill, this magic solution, and I get it, I really do. But here's the honest truth. If the mineral chaos and inflammation driving your migraines is not addressed at the root, if the inflammation overload loop is still running, the weight's going to come back when you stop. Studies show this clearly, and so will the full force of your migraines, possibly worse than before because now your body is more depleted than when you started. You have not fixed anything. You've delayed the bill and added interest. And if you're using a supplement from a social media ad instead of actually, prescription medication, you may be paying for contaminated ingredients that are doing nothing for your migraines and quietly damaging your liver in the process. And that's not a trade worth making, especially if you're already taking migraine medication or any other medication that's already impacting your liver. So my job is to help you understand what is actually happening inside your body so that you can make an informed decision. Not to shame anyone for exploring options when you're in pain and you're desperate. Because again, I would have explored anything. When I was having daily migraines, if you handed me that pill, if I didn't know the knowledge I know now, if you handed me that pill back in the day, I surely would have taken it. But the nice thing is I don't have to, and I now have the knowledge to know better and to be able to share that with you. The Freedom from Migraine method, it exists because there is a way through this that builds health instead of borrowing it. We don't want to borrow health. We want it to be ours. In the Freedom from Migraine method, we go through 4 phases, and phase 1 goes directly to the mineral imbalances at the cellular level, the exact deficiencies that GLP-1 medications quietly make worse. We are not suppressing a signal. We are rebuilding that foundation so that your body stops generating the crisis in the first place. This is the difference between joy that lasts and relief that disappears the moment you stop doing the thing that was masking the problem. So if this episode has you thinking even just a little bit, that maybe GLP-1s are not right for you, The next step is a migraine breakthrough assessment. It is a complementary assessment where you and I together will look at what's actually going on inside your body, inside your cells, and build a path forward together. The link is in the show notes for you. And if you know a woman who is considering GLP-1s for her migraines, please share this episode with her. She deserves the full picture. All right, everybody, have a great day. Here's to your migraine freedom, and I hope to see you in the group.